and welcome to Confessions. I'm your hostess of light, Jennifer Watson. I'm an empowerment coach, numerology astrologer, past life reader, and author, and my mission is to provide a safe space for people to step into their darkness so they can shine their brightest of lights. And that's what this show is all about. Tonight we'll be talking about the rights of others and how years of tyranny have caused oppression that we are now faced with reversing. From protecting animals to honoring Indigenous people, the time has come to acknowledge that all are equal and all deserve respect and reverence. Joining me to talk about this tonight is the kind-hearted Lili Sorum. She's a numerologist who helps shine a light on the magical meaning of numbers. She's also a motivational speaker and a personal coach, as well as a passionate advocate for human and animal rights. And it's my pleasure to have her on the show tonight, all the way from Slovenia. So welcome to Confessions, Lili.
Hi, it's really great to be here. Hello.
It's so awesome to have you on. So I'm excited to finally meet you and get to talk with you. And I gotta ask, are you ready to bare your soul?
Let's see.
Oh, see, she's going to try to go into hiding with her camera because we've been having a little tech issues. So she thinks that she's going to hide behind this. She's going to bear it all.
No, actually, I think my camera is saying, okay, I'll just do the blur thing.
Oh my gosh, so fun, so fun. So let's get started. Let's talk about your background in numerology first. So what led you to uncovering the mystery of numbers? What attracted you to that?
Well, I'm going to say curiosity on this one. I would say that numerology actually found me. I was in a library. I love to read. I would read anything that's interesting or anything that's history related. So there was this giant book that just fell into my lap, and, you know, curiosity didn't kill the cat, obviously. So I took it home and I did the calculations, and I realized that it's strictly on point. So my first step with numerology was my own personal recognition of it and growth and things like that. And through that, it just came out. You know, I would do calculations for my friends, for my family. So it took its own path, to say it like that.
Awesome. So how do you use the magic of numbers and interpret them to help people in their lives?
It depends. One of the ways is the personal analyzation that you can do. So you can see which would be your strong points, your talents, what you thrive at. Secondly, it's much like astrology. So you can actually do predictions, but not as in fortune telling, but you would actually know when it's a good time to move, when it's a good time to just sit still and, listen to your thoughts and stuff like that. Because sometimes in life, we're not in balance with the energy that surrounds us. And numbers can actually help. And we hear about, if you see a feather lying on the ground, that's angelic messages. Well, numbers have messages too. So be present in the moment. And I don't know, look at a car. It has a license plate. It has numbers. It has letters. So every letter has a value in numerology. So be aware of the moment. That is what I would say that numbers remind us of.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because I think a lot of people finally getting connected with the angel messages that come through, like with the 1111 or 333 or 222, like seeing repetitive numbers or repetitive patterns like 1212, just the 1212 pattern. And you can see them on clocks, you could see them on television and everything. So what do you think? Do you think that all numbers have like a set meaning, or do you think that they're adaptable depending on your situation? Like if you see 1111 repeatedly, is it always the same thing, or is it different messages trying to come through?
I think it's different because if we touch the 1111, because it's most common question. I love that 1111 a few years ago that was done for 1 minute from Mother Earth. I don't know if you're familiar with that. If you see 1111 or every day when it's 1111, you're supposed to be sending love and light to Mother Earth as a healing. So that healing is going on 24/7, if you can imagine that, because on the Earth at every minute there is 1111 moment. So there's the energy flowing. That's one of the explanations. Depending on where you see the number, if it's a license plate, to me it tells that it has to do with movement, because license plate is, car is moving. If you see it on a watch, it would be related into, time spectrum. So it depends where you see it. And the message that is most important is when you do the sum of the numbers. So 1111 is really 4. So it would mean to move forward in a meaningful way, because 4 is a sacred number.
Oh, interesting. That's a great perspective, because I didn't have that before. So you added the numbers, and that's a deeper level. I love that. Because it's
Yeah.
different if you see, 111 versus 1111. So it's still this multiple of the same number, but one's 3, one's 4. Very interesting.
It's always the sum. The sum is the most important message, and then you just crack the numbers to see what it is telling you about. So, yeah.
Huh. I have to go back and do a little bit of work. Okay, great. So I love that. And I love that you're also a motivational speaker. So tell us a little bit. I know. Oh, we'll be talking afterwards. So you're a motivational speaker. Tell us a little bit about that.
I love working with people. So being a motivational speaker gives me an opportunity to work basically with people and one-on-one too. So it's sharing the experience. I would never say that I know more than anybody else. I can just share what I already have learned and try to learn from everybody else. So to me, saying speaker kind of sounds like I'm putting myself in an upper position, which I really don't want to, but it's sharing the experience. That would be like translation of that. So I love it when people ask questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think speaker is a bad word. I think it's good. I think it's like you're speaking to the masses. It's all good, girl. Own it.
Okay, thank you.
Because part of what you do is also personal growth. You work with people as a coach.
Definitely. If I wasn't, like you said in introduction, if you don't know what darkness feels like, you can't really understand a person who's going through a hard time. So definitely it's about my growth too. Definitely.
Awesome. So what else do you have going on? You do numerology, motivational speaking. You're on TV as well. Tell us a little bit about that. That's right. How can I forget that?
It's not that special, Well, I'm grateful for that opportunity because I get to talk about numerology. I get to talk about everything else, concerning personal growth, spiritual growth. And I think that those segments are being mixed up sometimes because personal growth is one thing. Spiritual growth has to do with our soul. So it's eternal. It's not just limited to this lifetime, which personal growth is, I think. And then we have emotional growth. We really need to focus on our mind too. So I get to talk a lot on TV, but I do miss the feedback of the people. So I'm usually on Monday morning to talk about the week that's ahead, about the challenges that it brings. So to me, it gives a beautiful opportunity to give a voice to numbers in that perspective.
Awesome. So where can people find you to check out more about you?
Facebook. My English page is down right now, just my luck, I guess. I just hope that the camera stays on. It doesn't go into the blur too. Well, mostly Facebook right now, but I do have an English webpage too that will be put up, I'm guessing, in January.
Okay,
again.
Great. Listen, I could talk about numerology, and I'm fascinated with numbers, so I could talk to you about this all day. But, I want to talk to you about something deeper where you're very much an advocate for human and animal rights. And, you're very passionate about it, and you could see that shine through, that you want to spread the light about treating people fairly, treating animals fairly, and just to recognize that we're all one. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how passionate you are about, protecting the rights of indigenous people to begin with?
I think the first step is to recognize the injustice that has been done, and more importantly, that is still being done. A lot of people have no idea that genocide is still going on. And if I can reach, 3 people or just one person and help them understand that and raise awareness in energy sense, I'm grateful. Because I know that history has been rewritten, and it has been rewritten in all parts of the world, not just United States, not just Canada, not just South America, everywhere, even in Slovenia. But I think it's very important to recognize the fact that a lot of indigenous people are really oppressed right now, and that needs to stop. And it's not going to stop by itself. So speaking up in a different way for people who sometimes can't speak up or are not heard, because indigenous voices are there, they're speaking up, they're doing beautiful things, they're doing powerful things. I just don't think that we're always as open to hearing that, because it hurts. I understand that that's a part of history that I guess America is not proud of, but the history isn't the problem. Current situation is the problem.
Absolutely. I think it's sad. We just had Thanksgiving, and, I've read all different things about, well, what is the true story about it? Maybe we fluff it up to make ourselves feel better. But in essence, it's like when we suppress indigenous people, like, that's ancient wisdom. it's
Yeah.
like, you know, we are not, it's okay to go examine the new like technology and everything, but it's not okay to forget the past. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like they've retained, we wonder why we're in such a crazy world as well, because we've turned our backs on what ancient civilizations have taught us, or what they knew and how they lived. I mean, they were brilliant, and we just think we were so much smarter than them. So it's sad to see that, not because we're not only suppressing people, we're suppressing that wisdom. We have no access to it when we just dismiss it. So
I mean, and there are two things to point out here. First is that you go like numerology. I know it's not that recognized, but it's actually ancient wisdom, and indigenous people also studied astrology, numerology. That is from indigenous people. So one point is the wisdom that's being suppressed and the past. And the other problem, which is I think very important too, is that we're disconnected from nature. I mean, we read weather reports. Indigenous people just look up the sky and they can feel, because they're very connected to nature. And that is the problem in today's world, because Mother Earth, I mean, she's going to be fine. We're the ones that are not going to be fine. And then there's millions of animal brothers that will die because we're irresponsible, we're not grateful, we're not connected, we're not respectful. And we could learn so much from indigenous people who, I'm going to put it this way, I mean, if you look at 5,500 years of genocide, and they're still here and they're offering their hand, they're the ones that are standing up for Mother Nature. I mean, I'm going to Paris right now, there's United Nations Summit, and there's a lot of indigenous people doing just that. We want to help Mother Earth, regardless of people that are in Paris. So they're not being racist. We are. And that just, you're going to pardon me, stupid.
You have such a beautiful heart, and it extends, like you were saying, to Mother Earth, to the animals and everything. So what would you recommend to people who feel impassioned by your plea to get involved? How can people get involved and help?
There are so many great ways to get involved. I mean, just use the internet, just Google it. You know, there are many, many organizations that you can contact, that you can follow. And first of all, just go into your heart and feel Mother Earth. Because when we feel the nature, when you feel the tree, when you feel that heartbeat, you're not going to hurt the nature, because you're going to understand it hurts. Like people that have pets, if you have a cat or a dog that you're really connected to and you miss that animal when it passes, it's likely you're not going to hurt an animal that's a cat or a dog which you had. So reconnect with nature, reconnect with that feeling that animals are alive, they have feelings, they have wisdom. We can learn from animals, we should learn from animals. And then just find your way on. There are plenty of things on the internet that you can do, and just evolve, speak up. Initially speak up, stand up for those who can't. You know, if you see an animal on the street, you know, offer it water, bring it food. There are so many things we can do that are little things, simple things. But for that, I don't know, stray dog in the street, if you feed it, it could change or save their life. So just be active, don't fall asleep.
Oh, that's a great message. Stay active, don't fall asleep.
Yeah, we're very passive as humankind right now. We read something on Facebook and we say, wow, that's really bad, that's really sad. And then we share the post and we think that's it. Even in the winter, I mean, I see people sharing posts like feed the birds. That's beautiful, but then get up and feed the birds. Don't post about it, do something about it.
Exactly. There's only the tiniest things that you need to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of individuals can help change the world by just doing little things. It's not like you have to go out and be this huge advocate and speak around the world and to make the change. It's just little everyday things, like you pass a homeless person. Yeah, the joke is, you know, they probably just want the money for alcohol or something, but you don't know what that kindness will do for them.
Exactly.
So
sometimes it only takes a smile that you give to someone that makes their day much more beautiful. You know, if you put yourself on the other end, how many times were you in a bad place and somebody just gave you a smile or gave you a hug, and it made all the difference in that moment. It gave you hope. It gave you, you know, that warmth. So be that person that, you know, gives hope.
Absolutely.
Gives love. Gives attention.
Well, clearly you do. You're such a sweetheart. So we've come to the point. We've come to the point in our show called Confessions. And that's where we talk about something, a challenge or something that we've been through, that we've broken through, that we can share with others, because so many people go through so many things and they think they're alone. And by sharing our stories, people can relate and they have hope, just like you were saying. So take us back to a point in your life where you've struggled or faced a challenge and how you broke through it.
Well, you know, there were like 3 points in my life that I would say I hit rock bottom. And what was the most precious about that was that I learned that we need to trust in ourselves, and then we trust life to be good. So instead of going into details, I mean, I know what it's like to not be able to pay rent. I know what it's like to not be able to afford, you know, things for yourself or go to the store, and how does it feel to be really, really alone and nobody's talking to you and things like that. But that gives you the strength. So when that happens to you, just focus on the good things inside of you. But what we tend to do, we hope somebody would help us. We hope that life will change. That is external. So just go within. That would be like, my confession, I guess, would be I believe in miracles. I wouldn't say I believe in, I don't know, fairies and unicorns, but I definitely believe that miracles happen when we believe we are a miracle.
Beautifully said. For those struggling, how would you recommend that they go within?
Just try to calm down. Just try to calm down and breathe. I mean, I know that sounds simple, and I know that when you're struggling, when somebody says, you know, breathe and calm down, you just want to strangle them. But allow yourself to feel but to feel exactly what you feel. If you're angry with someone, just be angry with someone. That does not mean you're going to slap somebody. But allow yourself to feel. I think we suppressed our inner feelings too much. So we don't allow ourselves to be angry or to resent things, or we react with anger before even, you know, giving any other emotion an option to surface. So just feel things, and then there's a point when you have to calm down, and that takes a lot of self-discipline. But I think that that's, generally speaking, what we need: peace. You know, the feeling of being calm, of being grounded, of being present in the moment. So you don't give in to those feelings that come over, because there's a difference between what you feel inside of yourself, such as intuition and that little voice telling you that you should go left or right, and that feeling that just comes and overwhelms you. And then, you know, there's an expression in Slovenian language, we say that we see everything red, like in a bullfight, they wave the red flag. So when it comes to that, just try to turn off, you know, just disconnect, whatever it takes for you to disconnect, but just try to disconnect and think about something else until you're able to be as calm as needed to focus on the thing at hand.
Beautifully said. So Lili, we're already at our half hour. So what final message do you have for everybody out there? What do you want them to know from Lili?
I think that each and every one of us is a part of a huger whole, and that we tend to forget how important each and every one of us is to that. And we are at the times where, you know, there's a lot of people being really, really not loving, not patient, not accepting. You know, the refugees situation is one of those. Just go within and try to be as loving as you can, and not judge. And don't believe everything you read, even if it is in the media. That would be my message, I guess.
That's wonderfully said. So I want to thank you so much for coming on with me tonight. It's been such a pleasure, so fun.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So if you want to check Lili out, you can find her at www.lilisorum-sorum.com, and I'll put the link in the below. And we know it's not up and running right now, but it will be soon. But I'll also post her Facebook page in the links below this video, so you can find her really easily. So I'm Jennifer Watson. I'm an empowerment coach. You can find me at www.jennifer-watson.me. I'm currently working on a project soon to be released, the Pity Party Show. And so if you've been seeing my videos around and thinking that I'm depressed and suicidal, I'm not. I'm just poking fun at people having pity parties, including myself. So it's all good. It's all fun. And I hope that you enjoy the new entertainment coming that way. So again, you can check me out at www.jennifer-watson.me. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I appreciate your love and support. Tune in next week as I talk with a group of panelists about the topic of raising conscious children. How can we teach our children how to be aware from an early age? It's going to be full of great resources and information, so please tune in next week. Thank you for watching. Namaste, and embrace your power.